And we are back for another episode of the Post Republic. It is September 24th, 2025. My name's Adrian here with my co-hosts Steve, Joe, Silas, and Tyler. Tyler's got the rundown to start us off. Oh, you're muted there.
Hey. So.
Oh my God.
All right, we got more left-wing violence as a sniper kills 3 at an ICE facility in Dallas. Tyler Robinson's furry boyfriend is missing. Ryan Routh, attempted assassin of Donald Trump, found guilty. 2020 election FOIA request reveals massive amounts of evidence 2020 election was rigged. We have RFK Jr. claims Tylenol during pregnancy is one of the causes in the rise of autism, prompting pregnant liberals to start taking Tylenol on TikTok. Jimmy Kimmel brought back after a very brief suspension by ABC. More leftist violence occurs as a man shoots up ABC building, claims Trump officials are next. And possibly my favorite story, Brigitte Macron will submit photographic evidence to the court to prove that she's actually a woman. Ooh.
Oh boy.
So we got violence at ICE facility. What's going on there? Who's got the details?
Joe or Steve.
Right.
So go ahead,
I can
Joe.
get my bookmark. Oh, I was just saying I can just get my bookmarks loaded up that I do have. You go ahead first, though.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, basically, this is a repeat. I don't know if anyone remembers back on the 4th of July, the same thing kind of happened, but they weren't able to hit any targets. A guy let loose. He hit 3 detainees. He offed 1, injured 2. They found unspent rounds with anti-ICE messaging on them. More of the same leftist playbook that we've been seeing all along. So, kind of makes you wonder where we're at with this violence. I noticed the media response to this has been slightly different. They haven't been claiming the right-winger playbook that they've been running since July of 2024. Maybe they realize they've spent that nickel. You can't keep doing that. Which kind of leads me to a quick point I want to make. It's kind of troubling anytime one of these happens. Everybody's kind of hoping that it's not their team. This isn't a team sport. This is real. There's no reset. There's no game over. When these things happen, there's real consequences. We all want it to not happen, but it is all coming from one place. And unfortunately, kind of like a tooth infection, you're not going to fix it until you get rid of what's causing it. Which, if you ask me, is the media. Whipping people up into an absolute frenzy.
Well, the writing on the bullet casings it's interesting because people go one of two ways. That they're either like, well, this is obviously a link to left-wing people doing this. And then I think some of the conspiracy people and then also a lot of people on the left have somehow found the joy of conspiracy theories all of a sudden, and they say it's a setup. Which is always interesting that, that's the only conspiracy that they actually want to buy into is the convenient ones that, prevent them from having to face the violence on their side. But I did notice, I was listening to Tim Pool earlier, and he said, or he showed a clip of MSNBC, and there was a guy on there saying that this is left-wing terrorism. I think he was from the FBI. And then also, I think The Atlantic had an article about left-wing terrorism or left-wing violence, I should say. So there's certainly a shift happening where I think it's becoming so overt that some parts of the left have to acknowledge it because they can't get away with the mostly peaceful anymore. I mean, we're, like Joe said on the last show, we're deep into this at this point. I mean, it happens at least 10 years of current timeline Antifa violence since Trump really hit the scene. So I think it's just becoming too hard to avoid. And the left will probably, I mean, the Krasenstein brothers were basically implying like, oh, no, everyone believes the FBI. Like, that's really their last refuge, is just to become a tinfoil hat person.
So with this, I thought an interesting fact on this one was that it was detainees that were hit by the sniper rounds as opposed to ICE agents. That seems a little funky, right? Like if it was actually inspired by somebody who's anti-ICE, wouldn't it make sense that they actually would have taken shots at the ICE agents?
Well,
but my first thought, just by intuition, no evidence at all, I was like, maybe this is like some sort of cartel hit where, you know, there's some detainees that maybe know something or know a little too much. And so maybe this was a way to kind of silence some people.
Well, I mean, the story of the guy killing himself with the rifle kind of, you know, maybe they set some crazy guy up to do that. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure the van's windows were blocked out, so the guy didn't know who he was shooting at. I could be wrong on that, but that's something I read, which would make sense that ICE wouldn't just have like windows like that to where you can see who's in the car, where, and you know, I mean, somebody who's deranged enough to just want to kill ICE is not going to may not be cognizant enough to think like, oh, there could be those newcomers inside that I want to protect, you know? So I think there's probably less sus. I mean, granted, it's early, than, you know, some holes in the story than like Tyler Robinson. Although I still lean towards it being Tyler Robinson, but with this, it seemed, I mean, they got the guy, he shot himself. I don't know. Have you guys seen any suspicious things with this yet? I haven't.
I did share an image of the bullet that they did pull up. That to me looks.
I got it up, ready to go up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see it. Oh, do I need to add it?
I got it.
Oh, okay. I hit it at the same time. Okay.
So I don't know. To me, that looks a little suspicious. That definitely could have been planted. We got the guy. He fits the profile. As far as hitting detainees as opposed to agents, we all know agents wear kind of plain clothing from any kind of a distance. You know, they wear masks. They're effective. I don't know if he would be able to discern the difference between the two. But I've noticed this happened with Luigi Mozzarella, or whatever his name was. He had the writing on the bullets. It's kind of almost like a signature. That's coming along now, which lends itself to eventually be co-opted by ill actors to frame them. You know, not that I'm saying that's what this is.
So there's so many common threads between a lot of these shootings, and like you said earlier, Steve, the media likely is the main cause of it, right? Like just the onslaught of the same message everywhere.
There's no maybe about it. When you take for the last 10 years and you say this side is fascist, you know, you can go back to always punch Nazis, you know, dictator on day one, Project 2025, taking away women's rights, kids in cages, good people on both sides,
fascists, you know, authoritarian.
I was looking for specific examples, but when you hammer these things into people's heads and you make it seem like the only way that you can change it, you know.
So
and that's what kids are taught in school. They're taught how we won World War II was we took Hitler out. You know, the old joke that, you know, they built a statue of the guy who killed Hitler.
My question then is there a legal way that we can prove that the media is the cause, and then we can investigate what's funding the media.
You couldn't.
Well, I kind of think it's like a Chinese finger trap where if you try to pull, this is kind of the predicament that Trump has been in, is that like I think it's very difficult to actually clamp down on the media. Like you saw Jimmy Kimmel get suspended for a week, and they thought it was the worst thing to free speech. Probably because they're afraid, like, well, what if they actually do what you're saying, which is you could pull FCC licenses? I mean, they do have that power. It's just a matter of, do you want to give the left that narrative like, oh my God, they're shutting down the media, they're shutting down speech? But
Yeah,
these are
exactly.
the people who have spent the last 10 years pushing to openly cancel the president, ban people from social media. YouTube just had to reinstate a bunch of people because they openly admitted they did it. This is just the Overton window. This is what we've been living under. The Overton window is the left commits violence. They call for censorship. They don't care about the Constitution. And then when the right cancels Jimmy Kimmel, even though it wasn't them, then this is the worst thing that's ever. Literally, Jake Tapper says the worst thing I've ever seen for free speech. This is ludicrous.
So I pointed this out, and a lot of people apparently don't understand the difference. So when it comes to Jimmy Kimmel and the FCC, he's on broadcast television, which is FCC licensed. What a lot of people don't realize is the reason that there's not a Keith Olbermann or a Rachel Maddow, Sean Hannity on the broadcast television stations is because that's not allowed. That kind of gray, opinionated, to push people in a certain direction journalism is not allowed on broadcast television. So when you go on air and try to push an agenda with information that isn't correct, we're finally in an environment where you can't get away with that anymore. People forget the man called for unvaccinated people to die. Literally said that without a joke. He said, have a nice funeral, Wheezy, I believe was the line. And the one thing I want to know, and I will yield after this, is it occurs to me that since the election, there was all the talk of Howard Stern losing his show. Stephen Colbert he didn't get canceled. His contract's not getting renewed. Jimmy Kimmel, what do we think the possibilities are that USAID was funding these shows? Because $15 million for Kimmel, plus he's got 80 staff members, and they're pulling in 180,000 in the key demographic a week. That dog doesn't hunt, and then any advertiser would look at that and say, "I'm good." So that's just something that occurred to me that I haven't heard anyone else talking about.
Chopper Dave said, they called Trump a Nazi and a fascist so long it became part of the normie mindset. This is how propaganda works. Smith-Munt removed. Now all of this is propaganda. So what they do is they're creating permission structures, and then for the violence to happen, and then that way they can kind of avoid the culpability, the legal and moral culpability. So when somebody actually commits an act of violence, they're able to get away with it, and there's really no way to go after them. They're kind of smart and sneaky in that way.
Well, it's basically just mass MK Ultra of the public and priming people, just using all those techniques, and then radicalizing them and transitioning them, getting them on psych drugs, and you got the perfect cocktail where you have culpable deniability.
That's MK Ultra, right? It's a combination of everything. There's also MK Monarch, I believe, instead of Ultra, and that's a slightly different program.
Yeah, I think to use people in the media.
Yeah. So
I have pulled up waiting right now just to settle and clear the air right now. His background check, there's no identifying information for like addresses or anything up. But I have his profile picture that he clearly has attached to his name on his background check. I promise you that this is his, and that is what it is. It says Glorious Exposition Comrade. That is straight from his background check. So all these people wanting to try to say otherwise can kiss my ass. That's I pay for this. That's what it is. I have it. I got to save it on here too. I just wanted to show everybody that though.
That's a background checking site or whatever?
Yep.
Awesome. Nice. Great work, Joe.
Well, what you were talking about is called Operation Mockingbird, and they were busted in the 70s, where basically the intelligence agencies planted journalists in powers of position at every newspaper, radio station, and media outlet in the country. They were busted. They said they stopped doing it. Obviously, they have not. Let us not forget, and I hate to be this guy, and I hate to bring this guy up, but George Soros bought 60 radio stations in the lead up to November of last year, which he used to broadcast ISIS movements in California.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if there's a way they can connect that funding to the spread of propaganda in the media, which is causing these violent attacks. If that can be evidence or like legally.
Here's the problem: is it's not funded like that. They don't take a big cartoony sack of money with a dollar sign on it and hand it to Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow went to the college, which indoctrinated her with this is the way that you defeat it, and it's all funded on that end. They do fund it. Big pharma funds the advertising and stuff, which is why you never get exposés on drugs, which is why you have CNN carrying water for Tylenol, even though in 2014, 16, 17, and 19, they ran articles saying the exact same thing. Now they're saying, oh, there's no link. There is dark money, but it's not funded where you'd be able to directly.
And that's the whole problem with this whole situation, is that people who are like Rachel Maddow, Tapper, Cooper, whoever you want to say, they're influenced to fall in line because they know that that's how their checks are paid. They know that, whether they're conscious of it and being like consciously manipulating and lying, they're probably doing that. But it's also, they're stuck in this bubble where you get people who are just smart enough to say the message, but dumb enough to actually believe it. But I do think there are some bad actors. But the thing is, with all of this, we're up against a brainwashing mind control system that indoctrinates people in the schools, like you said, reinforces it in the media, reinforces it through the Democratic politicians that repeat the message. It's this one big feedback loop. So if you're going to defeat this, you have to push those barriers. But let's remember, Alex Jones owes $1 billion for telling misinformation.
So you bring up a great point, Adrian. I just want to touch on this real quick. They say that he made those comments about Sandy Hook, and I want to point out that you've never seen those clips. Those clips are nowhere because they don't exist.
I actually I haven't seen them either, and I just assumed they were telling the truth because it's Alex Jones.
He was inferring that there was weird things with Sandy Hook, but he was never like a Candace Owens with Brigitte Macron.
Because there are weird things with it. I mean, like, even normal people noticed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even just regular people are like, that's weird.
Right, and nobody's doing that with this situation or anything else. That's kind of getting back to my point about where the Overton window is at, where Alex Jones can owe a comic, absurd amount of money for something that, it wasn't even what they said it was in the first place. He had to go through, these humiliation rituals, apologizing, struggle sessions, whatever. And yet on the left, we have people saying, I mean, like you said, Steve, is saying unvaccinated people should die. These people should be locked up. They should be, or just straight up lying, Russiagate, the COVID vax, any of these things that we can look to. Like, why is no one being sued for $1 billion for any of this stuff? I guess the defamation thing comes in with Sandy Hook, but this is just where we're at, and I think it's so normalized within both left and right, where you see Antifa doing some violence on the street and you're like, yeah, it's another day in Portland, right? Whereas you don't see right-wing violence like that really at all, not even January 6th. And if there's even a hint of it, like Charlottesville, this is like the closest thing, and you could probably look into that guy that ran the guy over. shady stuff there. It's like it's literally Hitler again. Like the SS is in the streets. So this is just where we're at.
I have an article from Media Matters that claims to have a video right here, where Alex Jones says that the shooting was a synthetic, completely fake with actors, in my view, manufactured. I couldn't believe it at first. I knew they had actors there, clearly, but I thought they killed some real kids, and it just shows how bold they are, that they are clearly used actors. I got the video right here. I never seen this before.
Okay.
Yeah,
But I don't really trust Media Matters either, but let me put it up really quick.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's legit.
Someone talking about it.
It's him. I just didn't listen to the video. Let's see what they say. Or what it says. Or what he says. I don't know. Whatever.
Kevin, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, I was calling about Sandy Hook. Basically, my take on it is I live about 50 miles from Newtown, and the whole thing is pretty much the next step in reality TV. Because with other false flags like 9/11 or Oklahoma City or the Boston bombing, at least something happened. With Sandy Hook, there's no there. You've got a bunch of people walking around a parking lot. It's pretty much what it comes down to, and none of the
No, I've had the investigators on. I've had the state police have gone public. You name it. The whole thing is a giant hoax. And the problem is, how do you deal with a total hoax? I mean, how do you even convince the public something's a total hoax?
Very hard, because anytime I talk about this issue with people, you get criticized, blackballed, ridiculed, called every name in the book, or they respond with the magic words they were saying on TV. There's no statement more proof positive of somebody who's been brainwashed by that stuff, mainstream media, than those words they were saying on TV. Well, I always tell people the same thing: go out and prove the official story. And I knew the millisecond this happened, with that now fake picture of the kids being let out of the school, that there's nothing that's going to sell this agenda like dead elementary school kids.
Well, that's right. The general public doesn't know the school was actually closed the year before. They don't know they've shielded all, demolished the building. They don't know that they had the kids going in circles in and out of the building as a photo op, blue screen, green screens they got caught using. I mean, the whole thing. But remember, this is the same White House that's been caught running the fake bin Laden raid that's come out and been faked. It's the same White House that got caught running all these other fake events over and over again. And it's the same White House that says, I never said that you could keep your doctor, when he did say you could keep your doctor. People just instinctively know.
All right, well, it sounds like he said it, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, something came to me about this situation, and that is during the trial, one of the things that was used against Jones was the people that went out after hearing this and harassed the families or whatever. So am I wrong to think that sets precedent for the Antifa people who go out hearing these words and commit acts of violence? Am I wrong to say if they've set this precedent, which we always hear, the right shouldn't do that because it's going to set the precedent, they're going to use it against us. They already
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So if that's the precedent that we're talking about, and he can get sued for $1 billion, why can't we sue Kimmel for $1 billion? Why can't we ruin these people's lives? Because this has people are dead as a result of this. If we're saying it's mostly the media, the biggest propagators of it, then why not?
They could.
And Gavin Newsom was on Stephen Colbert's show, 2 days ago, talking about how ICE is authoritarian, and I mean that literally, not hyperbolically. If somebody's authoritarian or a Nazi or something like that, what's the moral thing to do? To get violent? I mean, that would be the moral obligation of somebody.
Yeah, they're doubling down. They're not retreating. They're booing a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. AOC making that ridiculous argument against whatever the proclamation in for Charlie Kirk, saying that the Civil Rights Act gave black people the right to vote, which is not true. All this stuff is it's one of those things where sometimes if you show, I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with somebody who's like, maybe they're borderline personality or bipolar borderline in that way. And they're used to like being very manipulative,
Yes, I
and
dated women.
yeah, and you catch them in a lie, or you point out a blatant hypocrisy, and instead of acknowledging it, they completely double down, and turn up the crazy to 11. It's almost like you've pointed out that, hey, you're a demon, and then the demon just freaks out on you even more, and because they can't acknowledge, oh yeah, I'm a demon, you're right, you got me, I'm a demon. No, it has to double down because it doesn't have any other option to survive.
So what about Olbermann and his tweet to Scott Jennings?
Dude, that is you're next to who was it?
Scott Jennings. He said, keep mugging for the camera. And then, of course, he got called out for it. But look at Comey with 8647. And now you see politicians putting that in their tweets, in their bios. They're wearing shirts. They have signs. It's just an insane place that we're at. And it's kind of one of those things. We do have free speech, but there is a line. Now, politicians should be held to a different standard. I shouldn't be seeing Mad Maxine Waters saying you push back against anyone you see. You get in their face. There's that compilation. We've all seen it a million times of different politicians calling for left-wing agitators. You won't find that with anyone genuinely on the right. You might find Richard Spencer, who was a Barack Obama voter. You know, they have to pin it all on us, because if it's not all pinned on us, then they get looked at.
And this is also reminding me that the whole free speech thing that they've been talking incessantly about now. It reminds me, we watched a video many episodes ago of somebody saying that the left will quote the Constitution like they'll quote the Bible. They don't believe in either of them. They're just trying to use it as a rhetorical device to say, oh, you're a hypocrite, this is against this. But they don't care about that. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. I've heard people say that, like, oh, I'm worried about free speech. And I just quickly, this is like a 30-second clip, but I want to play this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ryan Long at all.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly the clip.
Yeah, this is so good. He's one of my favorite stand-up comedians. All of his stuff is amazing, but
yeah,
this just sums it up so well.
He's one of the good Canadians.
Yeah, he's the best.
He can stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Danny's a little wild though.
The polished Chuck.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said the polished Chuck.
Oh, I didn't share it. Sure.
I'll add it to stage.
Okay. You got it. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to press?
I had a friend. She came up to me and she was like, "Isn't it crazy that free speech is gone?" I'm like, "You supported every guy getting kicked off of everything for 10 years." It feels like a friend that was like an alcoholic for 8 years and just a menace, then coming back to the party after 1 day sober and being like, "You guys need to get your life together." And you're like, "What?" You're like, I'm like, "You came to my wedding and shit on the cake. And the only reason you're not an alcoholic anymore is because of the ankle bracelet." Like, what are we talking about right now?
He has another really good video of when woke and racist agree. That's probably like the best.
That's the best one.
Indictment of the woke stuff.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen that, YouTube Ryan Long. When racists agree or something like that.
When wokes and racists agree.
Woke and racists, yeah. That one's funny. It'll pop right up if you haven't seen that. That's a treat. Well, I think there's a concept that I've been contemplating lately is like healthy ostracism. I think that something that the left gets right is that they understand that a certain amount of ostracism needs to take place. Now, it's just the practice, the application of how they ostracize is bad, and why they ostracize people is bad. Whereas, I think that we've seen this beautiful canceling that's cancel culture that's happening on the right, this consequence culture that's happening on the right. And I just want to encourage people to to ostracize people even more. I looked up the etymology of the word ostracize today, and it comes from ancient Greek, where they did have a direct democracy, but what they would do is they would break like they would break a pot, and there would be shards on it, and somehow they would like write the names on the shards of who's up on the chopping block to get exiled. And so that's kind of like the origin of where it comes from. And then they would vote as a direct democracy in order to exile people. And I think it would be like 10 years or something like that in exile. I think it's such a good, such a healthy and good application. There's good applications of ostracism. Now, what happens is that the left has been ostracizing people in bad ways. And so what it does, and the left does this with almost every concept or every political tool, is that they use it in the wrong way. And so what it does is it bad jackets the actual tool. So people say, oh, we can't cancel people. We can't ostracize people from society because the left, they already did that, and they did it in the wrong way, and they did it in an unjust way. And so what happens is, and I know you guys are all on the same, pretty much the same page, is that Republicans refuse to use power because the left did it in an unjust way. And then so now we're just basically stuck with our hands tied behind our backs, and we're not actually exercising power properly. And Trump came in and actually started wielding his duly elected authority, and people call him an authoritarian. I hate that word, by the way. But that's kind of what I've been thinking about, is like, we should normalize healthy, just application of ostracism. Exile people.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say the best way to do that would be to start an app, much like the CPB app, and offer these liberals $1,000 and a ticket to whatever country they want to live in. I'm just saying, they hate it here so much. Take it and go. You know,
Yeah,
like, get the fuck out.
There's been man on the street videos of people saying, if I give you, I'll pay for your ticket anywhere you want to go. You can figure out how to stay there. Would you take it? They're like, no. And that's after they said, the U.S. is terrible. It's definitely not the best country in the world. And they're like, well, how about I give you a ticket to the best country in the world? Then you can go live there. Well, I mean, I don't believe what I actually say.
My Starbucks is right down the street. Patrick Bet David had a bet with that.
Yeah, I remember that.
On the Jubilee podcast, or the Jubilee Surrounded?
I think it may have been, yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
I got a clip loaded up. We can kind of get to the bottom of why exactly these people are doing this, since they want to deny it.
This is Gestapo-like behavior. Plainclothes officers wearing masks are terrorizing immigrants.
The ICE issue is alarming beyond words. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process. We're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here. Wake up.
Dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany, especially in the earliest days of Nazi Germany, are the dangers that we need to react to now. They're taking people off the streets and sending them away. It's a 5-alarm fire, everyone.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is not the 1930s, and every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
Donald Trump's modern day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye, just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. We need to make sure that there's a firewall that they have to come through before they get to them.
Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack.
pretty much sums it up if you ask me.
Yep.
I got there's also J Paul or whatever the heck. What's that? I don't know how to say her name. But I've got her basically using code words a while back. I just don't see where it's at right now. I'll just see if I can paste the link. Let me see if I can paste the link and then we'll go to that. But she's literally using like code words, almost like she's talking to her little agents on the ground. And it's kind of important because like everybody's like, well, how does this keep happening? Well, they're literally talking. It's right here. It's up. They're literally talking directly to these people.
We might call this getting strike ready. I think of it as getting us strike ready or street ready. And part of that is understanding our own strength. And as we develop that strength, being able to assess our risk tolerance, because we know that risk tolerance increases as the severity of the situation increases and as our own understanding of what's happening increases. So overall, the more we understand what's effective, what the risks are, and who's ready to participate, the more impact we can have. We might call this getting
So there you have it. I mean, what is that? That's exactly how Antifa talks on their Zoom calls as well. If you've ever seen those that people have infiltrated, these people literally claim that Donald Trump is using dog whistles for his far right Nazis, but he's just literally saying what Americans think, and that's what's troubling. These people are literally on Zoom calls using actual dog whistles to their base, trying to get them without saying it. You know what I mean? Strike ready. What's your comfort level? Dude, you'd have to be mentally defunct not to understand what she's doing right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just insane, guys. Like, it's back to what you guys were saying. Like, we got to get them out of here. How are we going to do this?
Well,
always accuse your opponent of what you yourself are doing. So when they say Donald Trump is using dog whistles, that's exactly what they're doing. Go ahead, Silas.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say, if they can find evidence of that type of speech in the Antifa, like whatever material they find as they do investigations, then that may be enough evidence to tie something like that where she's using particular language to pretty much tell everyone what to do.
Is that even prosecutable? Orders. Is that even like something that would hold up in a court of law? How do you hold these people accountable other than just voting them out, which seems to be more difficult than
so
than
I
it
would
should
imagine be. That if you could arrest her and get a search warrant, look through her devices, you're going to find links to group chats, Telegram signals, all these different places where these people organize, because there is no leader of Antifa, which, you know, if you say the word Antifa, you will have that pointed out to you. There's not a leader. Well, of course, it's leaderless revolution. That way there's nothing to take out. So the information is just put out there. But the talking points don't come from nowhere. You have to find where the talking points are coming from. And that'll be the connection that you can make with these people that are saying ridiculous stuff like what we just heard. It's a scary time. A lot of people are way too comfortable with the situation that we're in. It doesn't exist. Well, no, it clearly exists. We were talking before about the Berkeley bike lock professor, and I think a lot of people forgot about that. His name escapes me. I looked it up yesterday, but he cracked a guy in the skull with a bike lock and got 3 months. I looked it up. I looked the story up yesterday, and they're still calling him accused. They have him on video. He admitted he did it. He had the lock. They're calling him accused. This is how they do it. Yeah. They're very careful with their wording. It's like advertising. You see a Tide commercial on TV. They don't think you're going to see that and run to the store and buy Tide. You hear it over and over and over and over. And when you go to the store, you just grab Tide. So when you hear fascist, you say, okay, well, they're anti. So that's the good guy. It's all psychological. And a lot of people don't even realize it's happening to them. You know. So, you have to get the truth out there. And the funny thing about propaganda is that people don't even have to believe it for it to work. Like I said, it's the repetition. They may not walk away knowing your slogan, like to repeat it, but it's stuck in their head. And the people who aren't actively paying attention and get all their information from movies like Civil War, where the Trump stand-in at the end of the movie is killed by a woman of color in the Oval Office. If you haven't seen it, I spoiled the ending of that movie. That wasn't just entertainment. That's predictive programming. That's what they want to happen. So, but
Yeah.
I'm free for any additional input.
What I was trying to make a point earlier about MK Ultra. I view it as all of these things combined to pretty much brainwash the population and become like
absolutely
easy to manipulate and pre-program and all that.
Well, let me ask you a question, Silas. What amount of the population would you have to brainwash for this to work?
Yeah, a decent majority. I really
not really 30%, 40%.
Yeah, I mean for small movements, and that's what they want to activate first. But I think on the mass psyche scale, it would be stopped by another force, the right wing or whatever.
I think the answer is a majority of one of the two political parties.
Right.
What if I said they do it to both and they don't just use
sure.
TV and radio and stuff, they use the internet? That's why they're called influencers. That's why when I type it, it's all caps except the RS on the end. You'll wake up one day and there's like cookie cutter posts about Pam Bondi, or cookie cutter posts about India, or cookie cutter posts about soda on EBT, all from these right-wing influencers. While the second that a left-wing influencer get caught doing something, everybody jumps on them. And I'm like, look, guys, it's happening to both of us. These groups exist in the background on both ends. And half of these right-wing influencers are buddies behind the scenes with the left-wing ones. Get out of here, Like, I think people need to understand that the internet is no longer the anti-TV. It's the new TV,
Well,
Yes, but it's also opened it up to foreign, to easier access to foreign countries, though. Like these third world foreign countries, like people in Afghanistan are thinking like, how we take out the great Satan? Oh, it's called social media marketing. Oh, see, we're in the next generation of warfare now, folks. And they set up bot farms and stuff like that. And, it could be third world backwater countries like Afghanistan, but, it's also sophisticated countries like China and Russia and Iran, whoever else. Or, of course, I was going to say the Jews, but go ahead.
Well, let's be clear. The internet just accelerated this process, because we're talking about MK Ultra. That started in the 50s, right? And then before that, you have the modern education system. You have Edward Bernays and propaganda and, just mass media in general. But then you also have the critical theorists. You have the cultural Marxists. Like, this has been a multi-generational process. Now, I'm not explicitly arguing that it was planned out from the very start. It's possible that some evil demons have been conspiring to do something like this to just create mass deception on this level. But in order for it to get where it's at today, it took your grandparents being brainwashed and your great grandparents being brainwashed just subtly, and just each generation pushing that Overton window, using propaganda and new forms of media, new music, new movies to subtly nudge it, to where now Gen Z 20 to 25% identifies LGBT, but prior to that it was 2%. And we're just saying, oh, this is just because people are more open about who they are. It's like that. Well, no, that doesn't. And same thing with the trans is like, oh, were there just in the 50s, were there just millions of trans people that didn't know they were trans? It's been a long process. And now a lot of people are coming to realize what we're up against. And acknowledging how it's kind of like this techno communism that is this mass MK Ultra system that creates people that do crazy shit because their whole world has been inverted since their childhood. So this is like such an intense thing to go up against when you actually see it for what it is. Like, how do we have pregnant influencers taking Tylenol to own the president? How did we get to this point? And it took 100 years at least.
Honestly, no, it didn't. It took 10. I mean, honestly, under Obama, they weren't even this crazy. You know what I'm saying? It started getting a little fruity under Obama and a little off the rails as far as like the SJW movements. But things weren't like they are now. It literally took 10 years to get to the point where if Trump said, hey, look, air, it's great. You need to go out. You need to breathe as much air as you can. And they'll be farting into jars, breathing their own farts instead. Like, it literally took about 10 years. We watched it.
Well,
it was insane.
But we had to be primed for that. I mean, it accelerated within those 10 years, but society at large was primed for it with everything. Sure. Yeah, it wasn't this crazy.
Yeah, the kids shows and everything, like, yeah, it's been going on for a while, that part of it, where, like, you're ready to just, all of a sudden, you get your download, you know what I mean?
Dude, I've got a clip of Thomas Sowell talking to the head of Fox News from 1995, 96, where he's saying that a lot of people don't realize they're showing... in schools, they're showing just pictures of people having sex to fourth graders.
Wow.
You know, not under the context and gay sex as well. He mentioned gay sex, and this is 30 years ago now. So
what's his name? They made a movie about him. What was that guy's name? The perverted guy that did sex studies.
Oh, you're talking about Kinsey.
Yeah, he was doing shit like that.
He was doing crazy shit that should have got
him
arrested.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I think during 2020, everyone got a window into that whole awareness accelerated a lot. But I do also think that these things that were fringe became normalized very quickly in 10 years, about 10 years ago. But this stuff has been going on. Like, critical race theory has been around since probably the 60s. Queer theory, the same. So it just took enough academics and then the right mix of Trump was the catalyst for that ultimate Hegelian response.
That's what I was going to say.
Trump,
they had to accelerate pretty fast once Trump got in. They made their 16-year plan 4 years.
Look, and I'm just gonna be completely honest with y'all. Fun fact here: the movie Idiocracy, and that movie, the footwear everybody wore were Crocs. I'm just going to leave that out there for everyone.
That's how they got their start, right? From that movie.
So I have a great example, and everybody's seen it. That's why I like to use this one. In 2020, towards the end of the year, Operation Warp Speed. Okay. Trump comes out at the debates with Joe Biden, and he says, well, we have a vaccine that's going to be on the market by the end of the year. Every left-winger from Brooklyn Dad, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, we're not going to take any shot that Donald Trump gives us. Vaccine rolls out in December. January, Joe Biden takes office. Every single one of them, complete 180. And their followers. Do not forget, their followers were adamant. We are not taking that. We are not taking that. January 20th, every single one of them changed their tune from "we will not take it" to "if you don't have it, you do not belong in society." On a dime. And we don't remember what happened yesterday. We were always at war with Eurasia. You forget everything that came before. Everything that happened yesterday doesn't matter. And tomorrow, we live perpetually in the now. Look at the news cycle. The amount of things people forget.
Yeah.
And it's just insanity.
Well, I was trying to pull that. And not only that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I was trying to pull that clip up. I was actually thinking of that clip earlier today about how insane it was.
There were some people, famous people. Only famous people had access to it in December, if you remember right. Only like the government actors and shit like that. So, but there were some people that took pictures taking it in early December, and I clearly recall there was a subset of liberals that were like, this doesn't seem fair. Why are all these people getting access to it, and so on and so forth. And then it was like, you're right. Somebody in that little time frame was like, but this is a Trump vaccine. And all of a sudden, a lot of people were just on a dime. They were like, no, we don't need it. You're exactly right. But when that subset was getting it, there was like this, I don't know, jealousy almost from like these people. That it was like the Hunger Games, they felt like, and stuff like that. And then that turned off on a dime, and it was the Trump vaccine. I don't. It's bizarre.
And until Joe Biden hit office, and then it was life saving. But we forget Kamala Harris said, "I'll never take a vaccine that Donald Trump developed."
I've got the clip here. Yeah, let's watch it because this is worth remembering.
Taking the vaccine, and they should be.
We can't trust the president and take his word and take a vaccine that might cause harm to us.
If and when the vaccine comes, and it's not likely to go through all the tests that needs to be and the trials that are needed to be done.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us.
When we finally do, God willing, get a vaccine, who's going to take the shot? Who's going to take the shot?
We will need to have access to the vaccine results so we can make our independent assessment to make sure that Donald Trump's fingerprints are not on it.
You can be the first one to say, sign me up. They now say it's okay.
Is the vaccine safe? Frankly, I'm not going to trust the federal government's opinion. And I wouldn't recommend to New Yorkers based on the federal government's opinion.
And the question of whether it's real when it's there, that requires enormous transparency.
Would you trust that vaccine?
There's very little that we can trust that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth.
We cannot take for granted this process will be free of political influence.
I don't trust the president, and I don't trust the FDA.
If Donald Trump can't give answers and the administration can't give answers to these three questions, the American people should not have confidence.
You're going to say to the American people now, here's a vaccine. It was new. It was done quickly. But trust this federal administration and their health administration that it's safe?
I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
How confident are you in the approval process of the FDA right now?
How confident am I? I'm not that confident.
Yes, I would be hesitant, but I'm going to ask a lot of questions.
You're going to need someone other than this FDA and this CDC saying it's safe.
You got to make all of it available to other experts across the nation so they can look and see. So there's consensus. This is a safe vaccine.
It just
What
keeps
I'm
going.
worried about is that there's some sort of October surprise and that there is a pressure put on the decision makers here to announce the vaccine in October of 2020.
We're going to put together our own group of doctors and medical experts to review the vaccine and the efficacy and the protocol. And if they say it's safe, then I'll go to the people of New York and I will say it's safe.
But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
Lord have mercy.
So,
always good to remember.
I don't know how people can live in a world where that compilation exists and still say, yeah, I trust every one of those people. And it's funny that Andrew Cuomo was one of the people that was so heavily featured. Because when Chris Cuomo got fired, he went independent. He's on News Nation now, which I imagine you probably never heard of it. But he got called out for the stuff he said on CNN, and he was a pretty big mouthpiece. Even though when he got COVID and he was supposed to be isolating in his basement, he almost got in a fist fight with a guy over a bicycle on the street. Neither here nor there. He didn't remember any of what he said because he read it off a teleprompter, is what he said. He said, I did not do journalism. I was given a piece of paper that said what I was supposed to say. That woke up exactly 0 people because everyone that heard it knew it, and everyone who would, nobody who it would have been new information to heard it.
Well, and it's not even just that. It does kind of matter that he was caught on the street with COVID, fist fighting over a bike. Because think about everybody that's been caught. Gavin Newsom at that fancy place, shoulder to shoulder when everybody else was on lockdown. Nancy Pelosi at a spa, no mask. Yeah, I mean the list goes on and on and on. Dr. Fauci go off camera, rip his mask off as fast as he can at a baseball game, and the rest of us were like, geez, do we go to the store today and follow the lines? I don't know. It's like this is it was the ultimate show of, like we were saying, the Hunger Games type thing. Like, the peasants, they need to follow these rules. We're above it. And it's just, that should have been a wake-up call to the entire country about who your leaders are and how they view themselves over you. Nancy Pelosi's ice cream freezer, remember, and all that. And I'm just going to point out in your clip there, one of these dummies was wearing a mask on a internet interview. Like, who are you going to infect through the internet? That's not how internet viruses work, stupid.
So, a little off topic, but who remember Gal Gadot's little karaoke party?
Imagine?
Yeah, how out of touch she is singing Imagine There's No Heaven while people's grandparents are dying and they can't go to the funeral. This is the disconnect. This is what's causing people in our country to be so divided. Because that's an issue. You're on one side or you're on the other. I was clearly on the side of I can handle a cold because I got COVID before it was called COVID. I definitely didn't want to infect people, but I'm asking myself, why am I isolated? Why are healthy kids who should be in school socializing? Why are they sitting at home on a Zoom meeting playing Fortnite? Why don't we just isolate the people who had comorbidity?
You know what pissed me off of dealing with COVID? And this is like a flashback to that time, but during that time, I knew it was bullshit from pretty much the very start. The only time I actually thought it was real was when it was initially being posted on Reddit, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And then I saw the rollout of how they did it, and I was like, "This doesn't make any sense," for all the reasons. But the entire time, when we came in contact with somebody, or we had a situation out of being polite, or maybe we were cucked and we should have just been more, but we were respectful also, because my coworker at the time was really upset that I had exposed her, and so we were just trying to take it serious. And meanwhile, all the people who are signaling their allegiance to that they believe in COVID, we would see a lot of our friends go out to parties, to dance parties where it's clearly going to get exposed. And we're just sitting here thinking, like, wait, do you not believe this? You're not actually scared of this then. You're doing this because you still believe it, but you don't believe it. There's a part of you that doesn't. We're in this crazy town where, you see Gavin Newsom doing the same thing, and I'm just trying to somehow empathize with Gavin Newsom, whether I don't think he actually believes his line of bullshit. But we saw that firsthand where people would completely contradict themselves. And meanwhile, we're just trying to, not quote unquote infect other people and being respectful. And the people that are being most authoritarian didn't care.
Well, beyond that, we saw riots, protests, all kinds of stuff while we're in our house watching it on the internet. We saw all that, and then when Trump lost the election, they were out in the street sharing bottles of champagne together. And I'm over here like, is this real life?
The Summer of Love happened during COVID. They said, because people would say they're out there infecting people. They'd say, no, social justice is more important. What?
20 social justice and epidemiologists said it's okay to go out and protest for COVID. That's a real headline, obviously.
You're just not allowed to garden. You can't garden. A squirrel might run past and spread it to your neighbor. You never know.
Don't go to the beach and swim by yourself. True story.
People would like to say, well, everyone was masked up at the protests, man.
And some of them were, but not because they were worried about COVID.
Yeah.
Mostly the looters, yeah.
My favorite Clown World moment, one of many, is the I can't breathe mask. That was just like, they're just rubbing it in our faces right now.
Dude, I had one that said it was Trump's mouth, and it just said China all across it. I had some old lady, she walked past, and she said to her husband, "That's just distasteful." I'm like, good. I'm glad it pissed you off.
What's your point?
I remember. Well, it sounds like there's some collective PTSD here with COVID, and a lot of times the politicians of both parties will say, like, we need to move forward. We don't want to relitigate the past. Like, that's in the past. There's no political upside to going back and relitigating the 2020 election being rigged and going and relitigating. We don't want, it's actually just not good for the country to go figure out how that virus actually got released in the first place. And nobody even, Fauci's actually retired now and he's got a pardon. So just let it go, Rand Paul. Like, don't, there's nothing you can do about it. So it's time to move forward. But I think that there's definitely a good reason to go back and talk about this stuff and hash it out, especially so that way we don't let it happen again. Because like you guys were saying, the news cycle is so it's keeps going. It's so short. The news cycle's so short. It's like we're not even talking about Charlie Kirk's death anymore. It's almost like that's even gone. Like, and it took maybe 2.5 weeks or something like that for me to even start to kind of like contemplate the idea of having a lighthearted show. But it's crazy that that's even starting to get kind of swept underneath that media cycle.
Well, I don't even think it has to do with the media cycle. I mean, they held the thing. Leftists attack that too. And I think people are just, they're not over it, but like, how much can you talk about it? You know what I mean? Like, at some point you just accept that it happened and that the left is evil and that they live in our world with us. And we have to go on about life. And then next year, when the day comes, there'll be events to honor him and things like that. You know what I mean? But like, I still see people talking about it, honestly, here and there. It's not like totally gone. And there's still people looking people up that said vile things to get them fired too. So, I mean, it's not over. It's just.
Well, and this ICE situation is just a continuation of the same trend. So, I mean, I don't know I'm frustrated. I have to be honest, guys. I am frustrated that Trump hasn't shown more a show of force when it comes to just film some people getting busted who have done like provable shit, which there's got to be hundreds of people in Portland at this point.
Oh, they're doing it.
They did yesterday. Yeah, actually, I did.
Yeah, they started just days after they were dropping them and taking them. And then he announced, crap, I can't find the post, guys. I wonder if I didn't bookmark it, but he just announced today that they're going after these right here. Because it's funny, because I said that earlier today, I said we might actually need martial law to be able to take these organizations out. And then Trump announces this a couple hours later, right here. On this, you got to bring it up. I can't. So President Trump announces executive order to dismantle the left-wing terrorist networks after today's ICE shooting, and he says the continuing violence from radical left terrorists in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination must be stopped. ICE officers and other brave members of law enforcement are under grave threat. We have already declared Antifa a terrorist organization, and I will be signing an executive order this week to dismantle these domestic terrorism networks. I am calling on all Democrats to stop this rhetoric against ICE and America's law enforcement right now. The Trump administration is fully committed to backing law enforcement, strong borders, securing our homeland, deporting violent illegal criminals, and fully rooting out the left-wing domestic terrorism that is terrorizing our country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And Sippy Cup shared this and goes, what are the odds of martial law if one more thing happens? And it's just so funny because earlier that day, I literally said 8 hours. So about 3 hours before that, I'm like, we may need martial law at some point to stop the less violent minions. I'm okay with it. I'm sure others on the right would lose their minds.
Well, as much as I'm at this point, whatever needs to be done needs to be done. But there's a part of me, and I think in terms of Hegelian dialectic terms here, that wonders, let's say this is an operation that Tyler Robinson and this recent, however it's coordinated. But I'm saying it's by the people on that side of the aisle, high up billionaires who are funding this, who have made a play to agitate Trump into looking like, and I think I saw somebody post this, like Trump needs to be the person that they've been, creating from fiction. And it's almost like this is the way that you get that, like, it's like they're creating the narrative from their own actions, creating the reaction that has to happen. And I go back to the Chinese finger trap where you can't, either way you pull, you're stuck in the trap, right? And the harder you pull, the more you're stuck. So I think to kind of not necessarily contradict my frustration, but to at least understand and empathize what we're up against here, the authoritarianism that we all know, quote unquote, authoritarianism, just the use of the law and keeping order, is what's needed to clamp down in this situation. But in order to do that, Trump is could be getting baited somehow into doing that. So we're at this precipice where it's like, yeah, do it, fascist, like you see the rhetoric from Gavin Newsom, you see it all around. Like they're trying to agitate this along because that's, what is Antifa about? They're trying to agitate that response to then get that clip, to then get the reaction from the cops to say, oh, they pushed this politician over. Now, I don't think it's working as well, but if you corner a demon, they're going to get desperate, right? So it's like maybe the play here that has been activated somehow is to just push the right into a corner where they have no choice. But we've been there, so I don't have any easier answers. I'm spitballing with my tinfoil hat.
Yes, and that's exactly my logic here. Is we were pretty much under martial law during COVID. Any given state, especially blue states, that's exactly how. You're not going to be stuck in your house. You can still go get groceries, go to your doctor, and do pertinent things to your life. But there's going to be restrictions, And I really think that it needs to happen. I don't think it's fascism. We had the sniffles that was overblown, and they were happy to do it to us and everyone else. We have a current situation where these people are shooting people. Obviously not always the people they intend to shoot, as we saw today, but they're still killing people. They're at the point where they're activated. We have activated cells in this country. I have no doubt this kid's going to link to the same communist training groups that we saw, them posing with guns and stuff, all these different groups. And we got to take them down, and then the left will be like, well, what about like the Michigan militia and so on? Well, I hate to break it to them. The same people who are saying that Antifa can't be charged as or labeled a terror group because that's not a thing the president can do. I hate to break it to you, but there's been Michigan militia here that have been charged with being domestic terrorists. So I don't know what they're talking. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Do you mean the Whitmer kidnapping?
I think a few of them where I interviewed one of the guys they tried to frame a while ago, like last summer, and the story's pretty messed up, but a couple of them, yeah, I think they tried to charge him with that or did. One of the snitches type guys.
That was Clinton's whole thing. The whole PatCon, like Patriot militia, and you had the ops of Timothy McVeigh. I don't know if you guys have looked in Oklahoma City. There's a lot of very strange things that make it look like an op. And you had Waco, then you had Ruby Ridge, and you had that that push during the 90s to really go after people who were like constitutionalists. They tried to use that to rope in anyone who's making these arguments about natural law or anything like that. So it was very coordinated during Clinton. But in that way, sure, there were militias and there might have been some extremists, and you had the Unabomber and other things. But it's not actually, you're not seeing street violence from militias like you. How much street violence have we seen from Antifa? There's got to be, thousands of events at this point, right?
We've seen going on 5 years worth. They took a break during Biden. I guess they were buying all their drugs.
So, well, they're keep paying their rent with the USAID money.
Let me ask you guys a quick question. Do you guys remember last year right before the election when they authorized, in September, they authorized the use of the government against civilians, or the military against civilians. I brought this up here. It's not going to play. It's going to make me look like
we could only wish
Oh God.
that Donald Trump actually would take a page from Adolf Hitler's book. Yeah, I said that.
But
because if he did, he would come in on day one and he would smash the Federal Reserve. And this time around, we might actually get the mass deportations that we hear so much about.
Okay. I'm not going to play this whole thing.
When was this clip? I'm just curious.
Trump isn't Adolf Hitler.
September 2024.
No, not even close.
Okay.
And calling him Hitler or comparing him to Adolf Hitler is something that his opponents do because they know that the average American is so brainwashed that for a huge swath of the population, if you compare somebody to Adolf Hitler, then that person becomes untouchable.
So anyway, we don't need to really watch any more of that. But the point I'm making is they rammed through that order. Is this a trap? Is this something they set for him to step in, like they did with the financing bill that ended, that he had to push through that? You remember the big spending thing, because the government was going to stop being funded. When was it? April, May? The big blow up, the big beautiful bill. Right before that, they had a spending omnibus that they pushed through in December. That only funded the government for a few months. That was a trap. Is this military order the martial law that Joe was talking about? Is that a trap?
I think to answer your question, because I was positing that idea, is to some extent I think it very well could be, but in terms of using martial law, Trump shouldn't do that. He shouldn't give them he shouldn't label, say we're declaring martial law. He should just use the powers that were used against J6ers and abortion activists, and or pro-life activists, I should say. All the tools in the toolbox that they've been using, putting Douglas Mackey in prison for how long? For a meme. All this is precedent, and again, suing Alex Jones for $1 billion. These are all so much worse cases than Jimmy Kimmel getting canceled. I have to repeat that because this is how far we are. So they don't need to declare martial law. They just need to use the powers that have already been used against them. And did Biden need to declare martial law at any point to do that? No. He just went after his political opponents who, he wanted to go after for bad reasons, like you said before.
Yeah. They bad jacketed the tools, though. They bad jacketed the political tools, so now everybody's going to be like, oh, we can't do what they did because then they'll do it again to us or whatever, like that same complaint we always have. And it's like they bad jacketed the damn tool, and people need to get real and just start using the damn tools. Like you said, you don't even need to. I agree, Joe, that he probably should just declare martial law and root out all this weird trans-Tifa terrorism, these terrorist cells. But at the same time, like you said, Adrian, he doesn't even need to declare martial law. There's so many tools in the tool chest already. One other thing I was going to say is that, I forgot. So
yeah,
who's next?
He just needs to act. That's it. They need to use the powers. They don't need to give him martial law. Just act. That's it.
Well, ironically, do you guys remember when they kept saying they needed that bipartisan border bill to pass to fix the border?
There you go. Perfect.
Trump came in and all we needed was a new president. He's kind of in the same situation. So I'm agreeing with you guys. But I was pointing out that they passed that law in September after the Harris campaign started, when they knew they were going to lose. They knew they did not stand a chance.
Here's a question. Has Trump declared a state of emergency for Antifa?
Not yet.
Because he did it with the border, right? And
No,
look at where the border is
at. He hasn't, but I guess the reason that I think he should do the martial law thing is because he can use the military at that point to go in and get these people.
Mm-hmm.
Biden did not have to do that, and they're going to need the military. You're not going to just be able to send in the FBI all normal on their own. You know what I'm saying? You need, because these people, they've got funding, they've got weapons, they've got body armor, even if it's makeshift in some cases. They're organized, whether they want to admit that they are or not. They're coordinated.
They have intel too.
Yeah, they do. And I just feel like that would be, and then it broadens the surveillance and the intelligence that they could expand that out in those areas where they know they are, especially Portland.
Yeah.
And then they can enact curfews and so on, like we saw during COVID. And anybody out after that, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I mean, would it suck for a little bit? Yeah. Would it speed this up? Everybody's been saying, get rid of Antifa, get rid of Antifa. He can't just send the military in to the states like that. You know what I mean? Now, Biden, he was using local police that were libs and local politicians to arrest abortion protesters. He was using, people like that. What do you call them? Attorney generals and stuff like that to get these random select people. This would be like a sweep where they just go in. They already know where they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me ask
Well,
you
I mean, the feds have to have SWAT teams, right? Like, I don't see Antifa. This isn't like the cartel we're dealing with. I know Antifa's dangerous. Maybe they booby trap. Maybe they want to go out Waco style, Ruby Ridge, whatever, and that's a concern. But I guess I'm pushing more caution in terms of martial law because right now we have the Overton window. People are outraged. Anyone who's not on the left, who's not a Democrat, is outraged. And there are still plenty of independents or non-political people who are like, this is crazy. What's going on? So all I'm saying is we definitely need to escalate as much as possible and to actually root out these people. But I'm just hesitant to go full martial law because then you're going to lose that Overton window and then the narrative could kick in. Just act. That's all I'm saying. We don't know how to.
What narrative, though? What narrative do you think they'd be able to run with? They're already calling him everything. He's a dictator. He's a fascist, so on and so forth. Like, what could they call him beyond that? You know what I'm saying? Nothing.
I remembered what I was going to say, and what I was going to say is like, if he does go authoritarian, like actual authoritarian, where using the authority and declare martial law, people already love or hate Trump. So is it really going, if he does declare martial law and then goes in and roots out all these domestic terrorist cells and actually does it, I mean, is anybody really going to be like, is it really going to move the needle politically? I kind of don't think so. I think everybody already believes he's a fascist or an authoritarian, a dictator, or autocrat, whatever you want to call it. Everybody already believes that or doesn't believe it. But I will say this. Isn't it such a testament to how much of not a fascist Trump is? That he has all these opportunities, these legitimate opportunities. You have a extremely influential possible future president that was just assassinated. I mean, any dictator in the history of the world would use that as a way to, enact some sort of martial law or some sort of top-down tyranny. So I don't know. I mean, it is kind of frustrating. I think a lot of people on the right are pretty frustrated with how not fascist Trump is actually.
Your points are those are good points. Definitely. I think, I mean, it's worth considering like how much worse, if you're already calling him Hitler and you want him dead and you're cheering, what's a martial law situation going to do? I mean, if it inconveniences enough people, I don't know. I think it's regardless, we need to use the power of the state to deal with this. And I think of Bukele. He's like it's one of the most popular politicians probably in the world in his country. I think he got reelected by like 85% or something. And people would say, "Oh, that's authoritarian," but it worked. They're the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. So, and the same thing with the National Guard, people who aren't in DC and don't have to live with it, they're the ones going to the protests. But if you have to ride the train in DC and there's National Guard there, I guarantee you, your politics fades a little bit when you're like, yeah, this is better that I don't have to look over my shoulder all the time. So I think the same is true with Antifa to this extent. I mean, this is such a big event that I'm still on the fence about it for the reasons I stated, but I hear your point though that like what's it really going to do? I mean, I guess
Well,
we'll
like,
find out.
would you consider what we've been seeing every time Trump's been in office, both times, including, okay, and I'll even go so far as to say them stealing the 2020 election. We're going to pretend that didn't happen, right? Everything you've seen regarding Trump, would you consider all of that to be an insurrection? Not an erection like, what's his name called it? Insurrection. Like they tried to claim that January 6th was, then we find out that was staged as part of their insurrection against Trump, right? Well, that's one of the things that can be used to declare martial law. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's valid reasons why you could do it that a lot of the American public see it. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, if he does do martial law and there's no movement on the higher level treason that's been committed in the background, then I'll be upset. Like, regardless,
there's already movement. It sounds like.
Yeah, but I think it would be a great opportunity if he does martial law and says it's for Antifa, but the military has to be involved if it is treason, because it can't really be. It has to be military courts at that point anyway. So,
well, somebody just shared this. As a matter of fact, I don't know if it really means anything. It's Liz. How do you say her name? Crocken. But she shared this with the eyeball emojis. Happening now 2 hours ago. It's on here if you want to bring it up there. It's video of the Marine Corps silent drill platoon performs on the south lawn of the White House. Is that normal? I don't think I've ever seen that before. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's normal or not. Here, let's... Is it like the Marine Corps' birthday? Like, founding day?
No. But that wouldn't be they wouldn't do that at the White House. They would do that at probably Paris Island.
So what could that mean? Like, do you think
that right there looks like just a drill and ceremony from... They wouldn't be doing any kind of drill and ceremony if they were preparing for martial law.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't get the eyeballs. Like, I hate when people do that.
It's Liz Crokin. Do you know who she is?
Yeah, true enough.
I mean, nothing against her. She's got some good information. But like Matt Wallace, everything is...
What do you notice?
Yeah, what do you notice? Download it while you can see it. It's a lot of clickbait. I don't think that's anything.
Half the time I don't notice anything. I don't know about you guys.
There's nothing to notice.
I don't actually. Usually when he does that, no. I will look at that damn picture too.
You put
I still follow
a kind of blurry picture and you let people's imaginations run wild. And then by the time that they find nothing, everybody's moved on to the next thing. It's that news cycle. That's why he keeps getting away with it. But we already have Memphis. They're going into Memphis. And he's talked about Chicago and Los Angeles.
Do it.
What if that is just the preamble and he's getting the pieces ready? And then they're going to go in and look like they're just going there to enforce crime. Or what if they are just going in there under the auspice of it just enforcing crime, but they're doing it behind the scenes? Now, they say they're supposed to indict Comey either tomorrow or the next day. I'll believe it when I see it. I saw today once that they found confidential documents in John Bolton's files. He's another one. These are treasonous men. What the declassified documents that we all knew 8 years ago, okay, but the declassified documents, their actions were treasonous. Peter Strzok, did you guys see that he lost his appeal today? Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He, by the way, him and Lisa Page both got $1 million payout right in the waning days of the Biden administration. But he sued to get his job back, and it was turned down today. Most of that was sealed. Most of the ruling is sealed, so you can't see the justification for it. There's wheels in motion, and I know everybody hates to hear it. We're not trusting the plan. No storm is coming. Stuff is happening. But
I'm a plan truster, so
I am too, and I think there is going to be one. But as far as like sending the National Guard into the states, he's limited. You can only send them to protect federal property, which I think he should do just to arrest the ICE agitators in all these states. Just send in the National Guard, start busting heads. But I feel like he's in this term, as fast as we've seen things move, and I know there's a lot of people, there's so many people not doing things. All this stuff takes time to plan. We're not even a year in, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't just win and then just start arresting people. That would be retarded. I don't know if we can say that on YouTube. Whoops, we talked about that. But you see what I'm saying? Like it all takes planning. It all takes time. Like you said, like you're not going to wake up the day after the election and people's heads are all over the news being arrested. That's not how this works. And I'm so sick of seeing these influencers who are probably getting paid to say it attack every single person that Trump has appointed to every part of basically the policing wings of government. Like, do you guys want these people to go away properly, or do you just want them to act now and just be done with it? Or do you want them to handle this right, you know?
I don't want to say they don't understand, because the influencers, some of them definitely do. There is a procedure. If you just go slap cuffs on people and throw them in the back of cop cars with some, slap dick plan, and one of these people beats the rap, it's game over, because it's optics. You ask what the harm could be if he declared martial law. The answer is optics. Okay. When it comes to terrorism, the reason it keeps happening is you can take out one terrorist and his entire family is now radicalized. They get one image of martial law and someone being hurt. The optics from that can derail everything.
They want to trans Tifa Floyd,
Yeah. Well, good luck with that. But
shoot them in the balls.
Radicalize people. That's what we have to avoid, is radicalizing people.
Well, I mean, how much more radical can they get at this point? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying.
I'm not talking radicals. I'm talking the people right now that are sane. The people who are maybe they're kind of in the middle. You don't want the push that pushes 10,000 people in the other direction. I'm saying logically. I don't know. I'm not in the situation room. But looking at it as someone who can objectively look at the situation, that's what I see. I see the optics of it would be terrible.
Speaking of which, that one, what is it called? The Pentagon Pizza Tracker something? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It's pizza. Or I think
like
it's
the
this
Domino's one.
Are they ordering a bunch of pizza?
3 hours. It's like every day now. There's been an uptick in pizza purchases near the Pentagon, and people claim that that's because they're planning things. And that's been like almost every day. Yeah, 23 hours ago there was, 3 hours ago. Yeah. So I almost feel like the military part of what we've been expecting might be in possible works. I'm not trying to be like prophetic or anything. I just feel like some of the language we've been hearing, some of the things he's been doing, like after that, it was almost immediately after they announced that they kind of busted into all these people's records, financials, so on and so forth, involved in the Charlie Kirk thing. Within, I don't know, was it 24, 48, 3 days, somewhere in there, Trump's like, okay, we're going to label Antifa a terrorist group. And I'm thinking like they see something, a pattern that they can literally follow right to people. And then he starts mentioning Soros. And then the media starts melting down that he mentioned this type of thing. Like as soon as he declared Antifa a terrorist group, there was people in the media saying, oh, and it's scary because then he could just say people like George Soros are part of it and stuff. And then Trump was like, he probably caught on to that because then soon after he's saying out loud, like, yeah, I think, Soros is. Like, they know. You know what I'm saying? They know. I think they know what's coming. And I think that they just don't know when is where we're at right now. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to spin things and all this and that, sending out their agents to wreak havoc on people, but because they're not going to go down without a fight.
Which is just speeding things up. If you look at it, when Trump came into office and you look at, what's his name, Jerome Powell, they have actively tried to crash the American economy since January. It was held together with bubblegum and Band-Aids for the 4 years of the Biden economy. And then Trump came in. They refused to cut rates. Every single economic newspaper, website has predicted the downfall. We're in a recession. We're in a recession. Nobody has any money, jobs, all this stuff, even though we knew that the Biden administration was, they would lie about the job numbers and then edit it 2 or 3 months later. But we're the only, all this stuff to try to crash the economy. It's not working. So you go to the next part of the plan. The next part of the plan is violence. And people don't want violence. Remember, chaos favors the establishment. Always.
Well, and to your point, honestly, to your point, that's why I'm not worried about those people in the middle. Yeah. They're seeing the violence that they're carrying out, and then it's escalating. So, like, they're obviously smart enough to understand, like, Trump's going to have to do something drastic here to put a stop to this, which is why I think they've been kind of soft. What would you call it? Soft announcing that we're kind of working towards all this. You know what I mean? First label Antifa terrorists, then start mentioning George Soros, then start talking about what the thing today. I can't even remember.
ICE shooting.
ICE thing. The going after left wing terror groups. That's even beyond Antifa because there's multiple. You see what I'm saying? It's like soft announcements, and it's just setting it up to get it in people's head, kind of like MK Ultra, but in like a different way. Like, look, guys, this is going to be kind of crazy for a minute. You're going to hear a lot of people on the right, a lot of people on the left melt down over this, but it has to be done. Somebody once said the military is the only way. I don't remember who that is.
So
it's like a slow drip or a slow roll to nudge the Overton window or to nudge the collective conscious or whatever.
Yeah, and if to your point, yeah, who really is a centrist or a moderate at this point? Like, how is it even possible in this timeline? You favor one side, or you're just still somehow oblivious even after COVID. I mean,
you don't
like you're just in pop culture and stuff because, political violence of the type that we've seen is just, it's just going to escalate. It's escalating in front of our eyes right now. Now, I guess the worry I have with the martial law plan also is civil war going to kick off somehow, or is it going to, or can you squash it enough to where it's people get the message? Because I mean, you had the message that we got in the last week was if you shoot at an ABC station, they'll put Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. That's the message that's being told. And it was the worst. I mean, the hyperbolic stuff, it's so ridiculous, right?
If it's effective, right? So like if the political violence is effective, then you'll get more of it.
Yeah, they're encouraging it. And they're not doing it because Jimmy Kimmel was making so much money. Oh, we got to keep him on the air. He's going to be losing more money than ever.
And I think that was intentional. I think all of that was intentional. There was even, I have it saved somewhere, but there was even an article that alluded to that they thought that Jimmy Kimmel was getting put back on the air because of that incident.
Yeah.
So, like, it's all very intentional on their end, and it's all very intentional on Trump's end. And it's good versus evil, and people, like, I feel like what you guys just said is accurate. Like, there's probably not many people left in the middle. There are a lot of poo-covered fence posts out there where people have lifted them off and chosen a side at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not, if there's people left in the middle,
there is.
They're probably such a small group, and they're very ill-informed. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you a question. You know about filter bubbles, right? We're all aware of social media filter bubbles, where the social media that you interact with shows you what you like. So that's what you see. That's the reality to you. This is so you ask yourself, how can someone celebrate Charlie Kirk's murder? Because all they've heard are chopped up clips or lies like AOC with her empty head is spreading, saying that he's out here, he's a hate monger. And you know what? They've never seen evidence to the contrary because they've never gone out. There are plenty of people who do not engage with politics. They go about their normal life, 9 to 5. They see the signs. To them, they're like, yeah, it's a little crazy, but they don't watch any kind of news. They watch just regular sitcom television, or they watch Netflix. They don't engage with it. They're not a huge demographic, but they exist. I'm here to tell you. We don't see it because to us, we see.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gotta be like a small group at this point. You know what
I would
mean?
say 5%.
Yeah, it's not. It can't be that many people. And
what's 5% of 365 million?
I don't have a clue, man.
Okay, well, it's probably, you know, Jesus, it's a couple million people.
I made a prediction. I don't know if it was on this show, but
it's 18 million, give or take, 18,250,000.
Okay, well, I mean, and we don't know numbers. We're speculating, but that can be the difference. You can sway entire areas, rural areas that don't interact with the outside world very much, outside of television. You know, they just kind of live insulated. You don't want to take those places and radicalize them in either direction. That's what I'm saying about optics. You know.
Well, it's interesting. They kind of blew their load, for lack of a better colloquialism, when it comes to the optics of going after Trump. You know, they essentially shot at the king, but didn't kill the king when it came to indicting him. And then they got the mug shot, and they were like, "This is going to work." The optics of seeing him like behind bars, if we could just get that picture, then that's going to deliver us the election. And it really kind of backfired, because it turns out that the general public doesn't like it when you go after your opponents like that, your political opponents like that.
And that's why they're working so hard to make it seem like that's what Trump's doing, because they know it's coming, because those people that did this to Trump actually broke the wall while they were doing all these things. So it's like, that's kind of where we're at. You know what I mean? Like, that's another thing you have to take in consideration. Okay, so we've got martial law. Is that going to really swing people back to the left? As we're seeing Antifa, who just shot migrants, get arrested and picked up. Or is like Comey getting arrested, let's say, tomorrow? Would that swing them to the left because, oh, look, Trump's doing exactly what the media said he would do? Like, we voted for him to do this.
Comey? No. Certain other members of the Obama administration, maybe. People who they have heard for years, Eric Holder. You know, certain members of administrations that they considered good people, that they've been trained are good people. Robert Wright. Oh God, put him in a little play school jailhouse and let's forget about him. But these are people that they've been told are good people. Jen Psaki. Okay. She's a member of the Biden administration. Now she has a TV show, but people have a relationship with her. If she had done something and you arrested her, that could. James Comey, I think absolutely not.
If Trump wants to win over the left with this issue, what he needs to do is just come out and say, we absolutely should not use martial law. And I like Antifa. And then they'll turn on him, because they'll do that with Tylenol. So
yeah, there you go.
So I said the COVID vaccine's really, really good. Well, actually, he's already been saying that, and they're still taking it. But I digress.
I said he should come out and say that, hygiene is bad and manners are terrible, and then they'll start washing and being polite, and everyone will be confused, because you got to do the opposite.
I think we figured it out. That's all he has to do.
They just arrested. This happened not just 6 days ago. I didn't even hear about this. 24-year-old man from Cornish. Is that what is that over in Europe? What is Cornish?
Where the game hens come from? Sorry.
I don't have a clue. I'm trying to look here. He was arrested for making threats. New England, University of New England in Biddeford. That's overseas, right?
No, New England's in America.
Yeah, New England. Duh.
Cornish, Maine.
So Biddeford,
Cornish,
Maine. He was arrested for making threats to a university there, and they found bomb-making materials. Did anybody hear about this?
Nope.
No.
So Trump, why is Trump not going after the? Well, I know him rhetorically. Maybe he will trust the plan, but universities. You know, he's gone after the universities about all the Israel stuff. So why not go after that? Because this is hotbeds of Antifa activism, where it begins. Really, they're fostering this anti-American. They're fostering this anti-fascist, just kidding, pro-communist belief system that's creating these situations. So go after the universities too.
He could at least expand his defunding campaign with that in mind, or like another layer of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To be fair, he did go after he's been going after the universities. It's an ongoing campaign, but he's been going after the universities pretty hard for DEI, as well as say the anti-Semitic speech or whatever.
No, I agree with about 50% of that. If you tell me you can't go after one group, but you can go after Christians,
right?
That does not make sense.
That brings me. I wanted to bring this up to you guys to see what you thought. I mentioned it on X earlier. You know how if you have anything negative to say about Jewish people, it's called why is it slipping my mind? What do they call us? Anti-Semitic. If you call Muslim, if you say anything about Muslims, it's called Islamophobia. So how about we just call people that say bad things about Christianity Christphobes or something along those lines? Just kind of throw it back at them. Can we play that game with them or no?
Yeah, I mean, I've said that for oikophobia too on a previous show. Oikophobia is fear of your homeland, essentially fear of your own country or your own culture. Yeah, I mean, we can try the branding. We got to have a good rollout campaign, maybe some influencers. Is it Christo?
Well, we all know they'll take the money. If we...
Is it Christo or Christo?
That's what I'm asking you guys. What would be better, Christophobe or Christophobe?
Yeah, Christo, because Christo, it's a little. We gotta,
Christophobia.
Ooh,
there it is.
Merry Christophobia to you.
I'm just saying. I mean,
no, I agree. I've said this. We don't. I mean, there's literally the fact that we don't even have a word for hating Christians. Just shows you where we're at.
Yeah, no, Islamophobia. Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. So if you have a group of people that are bullying someone and you say, well, if you bully them, you're just setting them up to be bullied more. Honestly, when you divide people into groups and say this group gets special treatment, well, by definition, that the treatment of that group is going to get worse. So
it's going to creates resentment too, and it also normalizes the resentment for the people who are quote unquote the bullied ones. It just divides the population by all these different groups, and then
it's the whole idea.
So harbor racism.
Let me ask you a question.
There is no racism against white people.
This I love this question. So Native Americans, right? Do you think they appreciate being called that? If I went to my neighbor's house and conquered them and we called them Native Steves, I imagine they'd probably be pretty angry.
Well, that's why they switched to indigenous, because they're like, well, they're not. It wasn't actually America.
Well, and that's what's funny is that they're not. They came from Asia and Russia, so they're not even. You can't even use that word, really. That word just means that you live and were born in a country. So yeah, we're all indigenous.
Did they request the title indigenous people, or was that kind of placed upon?
That's a great question. Yeah,
it was handed to them by white Karens everywhere.
You mean like Latinx?
Latinx?
Yeah.
I never understood political correctness. If you see a guy from Jamaica who doesn't talk and call him African American, shouldn't he be offended? Because he's from Jamaica, which is not in Africa.
Well, that was the thing with Kamala Harris. Like, she didn't have heritage to, what people call ADOS, American descendants of slaves. Like,
No.
she's not actually a heritage Black American. She's from what? India and
India and Jamaica. And her family were slave traders.
100% disagree. I think she was from, hell, but we can go with Indian Jamaica.
Yeah. Her parents.
Are you guys talking about Kamala?
Yeah.
Oh, Kamala's back in the news. Mamala.
Yeah.
She's back.
She just got booed tonight at her little book tour thing by.
Did she really?
Yeah, I can bring it up if you want to see it. Pro-Palestine protesters came out and booed a poor old drunk Kamala. Here we go.
Almost seems that when you pander to the worst elements of society.
About how and why you are saying what you are saying now and how I felt about it. You're not letting me talk. You know what? I respect your right to speak.
A black woman is talking.
Excuse me, I'm speaking. Ooh, Mamala.
President of the United States.
Oh yeah. Somebody told her in her ear like she
Do you see this guy right here?
Just play that guy.
Did you see him jumping and yeah?
Dude,
I'm totally gonna my anime pillow's totally getting banged tonight.
You gotta put that guy in the cuck of the week clip. You gotta edit him in there.
I think you're right. I'm gonna bookmark this.
That is like the epitome of the liberal white boomer.
Holy Jesus.
It's so good.
But what are they? Can I ask a simple question about that? I just saw it when it just popped up on my screen. Why are they protesting her about Free Palestine when she's just a drunk with a book? Like, what's she gonna do about it?
I couldn't make out why they were yelling or whatever.
I think they use any opportunity they can to interject that message, which, that's there were a lot of guys doing that with 9/11 Truth back in the day, which I appreciate, although they were usually protesting guys related to the issue. But Kamala was in office when all that kicked off, so you can still kind of pin it on Biden and
But you can't pin it on Biden because he's a mashed potato. So
yeah, well, he's not. He doesn't have a book tour.
Mamala is taking strays.
Did you see what Trump did? Hey. Speaking of potatoes, did you see what Trump did with the Presidential Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Oh my God! I almost died when I saw that.
Amazing.
That's crazy.
They put the auto pen up instead of him. I was laughing.
Dude, I didn't see that. That's hilarious.
Here, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got it somewhere, but I've got so many bookmarks. I fell out of my chair. Like, he did not do that.
Yeah.
Dang, I thought I bookmarked it, but I didn't.
So while you are looking for it, I'll just kind of vamp here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But you're asking why the pro-Palestine people are there. It's because the left wing has pandered to groups with contrary interests. Think back to the campaign when she ran the pro-Muslim ads in Michigan and the anti-Muslim ads in Pennsylvania on the same night. Like, the internet doesn't exist. The internet confounds Democrats. They cannot understand that it is not 1980 anymore. You can't go around acting like a fool and thinking people aren't going to see it. But they pandered to these groups for so long. And now they've started to abandon them, the transgender people. They really have started to turn their back on the LGBT, and they focus in on, and so those people are turning against them.
Well, they're cornered, man. I've been saying this. They're cornered by their radicals. They can't back out of it. They can't do the not do the woke.
Well, they are. But yes.
That's good.
That's
so funny. I love this president, dude.
That's why he is the man.
The greatest troll of all time.
Pretty much. Wow. Well, we're about an hour and 50 minutes in. Shall we move to our flagship segment?
Yep.
Let's
Sure
do
thing.
it. We have a new opening for it, don't we?
Oh, we got a stinger now, guys.
We got a little stinger.
It's the cuck of the week. Cuck of the week. Cuck of the week.
Woo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is that time again. It is the cuck of the week, the segment where we all face off and in order to find the most cringest, the most soyest cuck of the week. Who wants to go first? Steve, you got yours lined up?
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's add it. Go ahead and add it to the stage. I'm going to find mine.
All right. I apologize in advance for you guys having to see this, but I had to see it. So
What are you exactly?
I am a leather crafter pet.
So you crawl on fours and you walk around and stuff?
Yeah.
Can you show me how you do that exactly? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Good boy. Aha! Yeah. What's your name?
Mike.
You're great.
My puppy name is Storm.
Storm? Oh, good boy. Good boy. Good Stormy.
Oh.
All right, I changed my mind. Let's declare martial law right now.
Swung
Now
him.
you're seeing it my way.
Oh, wow.
Why you guys gonna be so mean to Storm?
Yeah. Jeez.
I
Animal
guess
cruelty.
I'll go next. Just do it in order here. Let's see. Pull it up.
Hey, that music was race. That was so racist. All right, Joe, go ahead.
It's up. There you go. Let's go.
Rapture ready. OOTD. Boots are for God. Dresses for God. Wings are for rapture. Glasses are from Amazon. Last meal before rapture.
Ouch. Like it physically hurts.
So sorry. Yeah.
that one hurt me.
I'm having secondhand cock right now.
Like, if you can beat that one.
Oh, jeez. Well,
Don't you want to have a Bud Light?
Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, they say that Satan will come to you in as an angel of light. All right, here's more demonic, satanic types.
Wow, looks like they're having a blast.
Wait a minute. Are those adults? I thought those were kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They
even,
are adults.
somehow that's worse.
They're going right now. They're
This
going to
just
the
hurts.
kids. They're going to the kids class right now.
Oh my.
Flooded again.
You know, people have justified black fatigue, but I mean, at least black people generally don't do that. It seems to be a white thing. I don't know.
Wow.
All right, Silas, CJ, Goss, what
Here
do you
we
have?
go.
This is the part that I love.
That's why
You're a mag.
Yeah.
You're a mag.
I'm happy.
You're a mag. You're a mag. You're a mag. Hey, don't touch me.
You touch me.
Don't get away from me. You get away from me. Get away from me. You get away from me.
I remember this. Oh my god.
You belly butt
You
me.
are following me around. You are following me. I will call the police on you. I will call the police on you, you freak.
I have that out of my brain, you know. Now it's back.
So it's because I'm wearing a MAGA.
Poor dog.
Because you're a freak and you want some action. Follow me around some more. I'm going to the management this morning and telling them what the hell is going on with this guy.
You're a mag. Oh Lord.
Oh wow. Okay,
I
we
really-
have everyone is sufficiently cringed out.
Mhm.
We lost about 150 viewers in the past 5 minutes.
I think I lost a ton of testosterone just
Yeah,
through that.
I need to go mainline some tea after this. You know, I'm gonna go for Steve's. I thought that was sufficiently cringe, sufficiently cuckworthy, absolutely insane. That's my vote. I'm going for Steve.
It was between Steve and Silas for me. I think I'm gonna go. That's the mag. I gotta go for the mag.
The mag. One for Silas, one for Steve. Joe, what you got? Who are you?
I'm also in a tie between Silas and Steve. I'm going to be honest, and I don't know who to decide because Silas's. I literally tried to forget when I watched that clip before, and now it's back, so that makes me angry. And Steve's makes me angry because that actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just do something really quick. Steve, my brush landed on the bristles.
Steve,
They were equally
congratulations.
Vote for Steve, too.
You have won the respect and the dignity of all of our esteemed viewers. You have my undying respect, man. Until next week.
He has been knighted in the round table of cuck.
Very, very good cuckery, sir. And don't you have a shirt on? That's you know what? It was meant to be.
Keep on cooking.
He was prepared. He knew he was going to win.
I'm glad no one has any follow-up questions why I have a shirt that says that.
Well, if they stuck around to the end, they'd know.
Yeah.
Cook tonight.
Well, ladies and gents, boys and girls, non-binaries, they, thems, it's been real. Well, I just want to encourage everyone to do as much as you can to be not a cuck. Don't cuck yourself, ladies and gentlemen, whether that's for your wife's boyfriend or for the government or, I don't know, leftist ideology. Don't be gay.
I'm
Like
Melissa.
and subscribe and share.